Web3 civilization is capable of. I had Michio Kaku on my podcast recently. Yeah. Fantastic. Love that guy. He's so good at taking extremely complex concepts and boiling them down for digestion and saying them in a way that other people can appreciate.
And not being hesitant about saying wild, crazy shit that's out there, but grounded in what's actually possible.
Yeah, he's all in on this UFO phenomenon now. He's like, now the burden of proof is for people to come up with some sort of a conventional explanation for these things. He goes, because these things are defying all the concepts of physics that we currently know in terms of what our capabilities are and propulsion systems and so many other things that, what we know about what current science is capable of reproducing as far as what we know. The problem is like these military projects that are top secret. Like, how much money do they have? They have a lot of money. Like, but is it possible, and maybe you could speak to this, is it possible that there could be some propulsion systems that have been developed and implemented that are far beyond just the simple burning of rocket fuel, pushing the fire out the back, which forces the rocket at extreme speeds forward? That's something that does harness gravity, something that can distort space and time and can make travel from one point to another like preposterously fast.
Well, not only is it possible, I think it's likely that kind of stuff would be kept a secret.
Yeah.
It's just everything you see about these, about the way, either if it's contractors like Lockheed Martin or if it's DoD, the actual Departments of Defense, they operate in complete secrecy. Just even looking at the history of the stealth fighter, just even stealth technology was kept a secret for a very, very long time. And not until you're ready to use it and need to use it does it become public, and not officially public. It just is being detected out in the wild. So there's going to be a process where you're secretly testing it, and that might creep up, which is maybe what we're seeing. And then it's waiting for the next big war, the next big reason to use the thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's definitely technologies now. There might not be propulsion technologies. There could be AI surveillance technologies. There could be different kinds of stealth drones. There could be it could be also in cyberspace, like cyber war weapons, all that kind of stuff. That they're obviously going to be kept secret.
I'm very skeptical lately, and the reason why I'm skeptical is the government keeps talking about it. The Pentagon keeps talking about it. NASA keeps talking about it.
In which direction are you skeptical?
I'm skeptical that they're aliens. I think most likely it's a smokescreen, and most likely these are some sort of like incredibly advanced drones that they've developed that they want to pretend don't exist. That seems the more likely scenario, because otherwise, my take is like, what's the benefit of them discussing these things? Like, what's the benefit of them discussing these things openly? These are, what the way they described it, off-world crafts, not made from this earth. Like, why? Why would they tell us that? I mean, unless there's an imminent danger of us being invaded, and they want to prepare people so they don't freak out as much. Like maybe freak them out a little bit. Say that publicly. The New York Times article, the Pentagon discussing it, all these different things.
Test happening. The waters.
Yeah. Well, let people know that this is a thing.
Yeah.
Or my take is like that. I don't think they do that. I don't think they tell us. I think the government has a lot of contempt for the citizens. I really do. I think they have contempt for our intelligence. They have contempt for our need to know things. And I also think they think that they are running us. It's not, we're all in this together and the government works for the people and the government is of the people. I don't think they think that way.
Yeah. The basic idea is you can't trust the populace to govern itself because we're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. I think that's accurate.
Well, they're not wrong, but they're also idiots, power hungry idiots.
Yeah, I don't think everyone's an idiot, but I think there are enough idiots that it becomes a real problem if you're completely honest about everything you do. And you don't want to let everybody weigh in about things that are incredibly complex and that most people are ignorant of.
And on top of that, there's this machine of intelligence. I've recently been reading a lot about the KGB, about the FSB. So several things sparked my curiosity. So one, I'm traveling to Ukraine and to Moscow. And because of that, I started to sort of ask practical questions of myself, just travel and all those kinds of things. So I started reading a lot about the KGB. Jack Barsky has a book on this. I talked to him. And you start to realize, you probably looked into some of this, but you just start to realize the scale of surveillance, of manipulation. Now, a lot of them also talk about the incompetence of those organizations. The usual bureaucracy creeps in. But the point is, it seems like there's no line they're not willing to cross for the purpose of gathering intelligence, for the purpose of controlling people in order to gather intelligence. Now, this is MI6, FSB. There's not much information about the FSB or the GRU, but the KGB. So we're always like 20 years behind or more on the actual information. And so I started to wonder. So I have not officially been contacted by any intelligence agency, but I started to wonder, well, is there somebody I know that's doing that? Undercover CIA or undercover FSB, undercover anything?
You probably do.
Have you asked yourself this question?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, people that have been on my podcast. Yeah, for sure.
You think there was actual a guest that may have been?
100%.
Oh, man.
I would imagine.
Would you know?
I have suspicions.
Do you care? Is this...
I mean, it depends on what they're attempting to do, right? Like, if I felt like there was some deception involved and they were trying to use the podcast to manipulate a narrative in a deceptive way to trick people into things, yeah, I would care.
But this is exactly those are the kind of things they do. They do plant narratives.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine if you have the number one podcast in the world, that people would want to infiltrate that.
Yeah, there's probably meetings in all major intelligence agencies about, okay, what are the large platforms? How do we spread the message?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing that really emerged when we were talking about during my cancellation, that there's there's no objective analysis of this in mainstream media. There's clear narratives that they're trying to push forward to, whether it's to promote certain ideas or to diminish the power and reach of people who are mavericks or people who are, who aren't connected to a system that you can't compromise. That's where it gets dangerous, right? Where it gets dangerous is when someone has the largest reach, but is also completely detached and clearly is independent in the sense of independent thinking, has on whoever he wants.
But your mind can still be manipulated.
I guess I can. I mean, I guess everybody can be manipulated a certain way. I manipulate my own mind, I'm sure, too. But I also spend a lot of time thinking about what I think. I don't just accept things. Like the UFO thing. Like, I was all in for a while, and now I'm like, man, something smells fishy. Yeah. I'm in it, and then I'm thinking, like, why? Here's my problem with the UFO thing. I want it to be real so bad.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it. I'm such a sucker. I want it to be real so bad, and that's a problem for me because I'm aware of it. And so then I stop and think about, like, what is my desire for UFO truth to be exposed? Well, it's because it's fun. That's what it is. So I have a desire for it to be real.
And I mean, I've talked to a bunch of folks about this.